And Chester's there, yeah. Yep. We're good. Yep. Okay. I'd like to call the Property Service meeting to order. First, I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we're on the Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. Next is the approval of the agenda. Moved by Councillor Boyles. Second by Councillor Turner. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Counter by a nay. Motion carried. Next is emergency resolutions. Is there any emergency resolutions? Any emergency resolutions? One more time. Any emergency resolutions? Seeing none, we'll move on. Any errors, omissions, or corrections to the minutes of September the 15th, 2025? Any errors, omissions, or corrections? One more time. Any errors, omissions, corrections? Seeing none, we'll consider those approved. Next is reports not requiring a motion. First is Director of Public Works and Development. Councillor Wadden.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm just wondering about the streetlights logging down in Little Harbour again, the two beyond 4616, and they were requested back in November last year, and there's still nothing been done on those. I was really surprised because I thought they were pretty straightforward. And I know there's issues with the 5065, but not to see anything being done there yet either. It's kind of concerning because I'm getting calls from them. And also, just to let you know, the 7 lights on Sinclair Road were put in quite a while ago, and that we didn't ask for them until April of this year, so they did all of Sinclair Road, but those other 3, we seem to be missing the boat on it. If you have any more information on it, thank you.
Yep. Through you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Councillor Wadden. We do have updates on a number of these. And I'm sorry, was it the 5065 you were
Yes,
first
5065.
Yeah, so 5065, we were waiting on the scoping from Nova Scotia Power. That was completed in mid-September. And they're going to be responding soon to confirm when power is going to be supplied. But what they decided to do was run power across the road to the pole, to the bell pole on the opposite side, so that doesn't need an extra pole installation.
Good,
so
okay.
that was a delay on that. They had to do a special scoping request because at the time they thought they were going to put another pole in.
Okay.
But that one, we were literally just waiting to hear from Nova Scotia Power to confirm when the power is going to be supplied, and then we'll be good to go. The Sinclair Road ones.
They're all done. I checked them today, and they're all done.
Yeah. And then 5448 Little Harbour Road should be done now.
That's been done for a while now,
yeah,
too.
and 4615 as well. So.
But it's the 2 poles beyond 4616
Yeah.
that are the delay.
Yeah, yeah. So we expect to hear from Nova Scotia Power on those 2.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, it's just been in the books since November last year. Just seems like a long time, and like pretty straightforward.
It seems funny that Nova Scotia Power, for whatever reason, has advanced some of them, but then not other ones. I'm not sure why. Yeah. So it really comes down to them on those. But you're right. Some of these have been on for a while, just waiting on them. But yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. Thanks.
Okay. Councillor Boyles.
Yeah, I was just wondering, when you put the speed indicator signs up there, is there any way of getting the printout from them for what speeds were happening there? The residents have asked because they get a copy of it.
Thank you, through you, Mr. Chair. We didn't have the loggers on those at the time.
Okay.
But it had been requested for another one to go out with the loggers again, so we can bring them back to those sites if that is information that you're looking for. So we can, and perhaps we can just have an email just to confirm which ones you wanted to get them back to, because we did have a couple in your district there, but we can bring them back with the loggers there, so that we get. It doesn't tell you what speeds people were at, but it will tell you how many vehicles were over the speed limit that you set. So that's something, at least, in terms of information.
I was just wondering, and they want to thank you for putting them in, but also when we put them on the Egypt Road that time, I thought that it was showing the speeds at some of the, because there was one of them, they're coming into that corner around 140, and that's what we were talking about, but they don't do that now, do they?
Ours don't. They just tell you how many are speeding or not speeding compared to what you set it. Like you could set it to be 60 or 70 or 80 kilometers an hour, and it'll just tell you how many of them are speeding.
Okay.
So, yeah. But we can put them back up and get at least that information.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no problem, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, Warden Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just a couple of short ones. The lights for Blue Acres, or the RFP we're putting out, and for the crosswalks, it reads like that's been done, but it's just got as far as the CEO. It's not out there yet then?
Sorry. Thank you for the question. No, Brian did post that on the Public
Okay, so
Tenants
it's-
website, so
And
those are out there.
how long a time is it out for? Is it 2 or 3
It
weeks?
closes next
or-
week, I believe, doesn't it? Yeah. Yeah.
It's next week, I think.
Yep.
Next week.
It closes next week.
Okay, and the other one had right near the end to do with Springfield Estates. So it reads that MOC places. Is that supposed to be placed? That's an already done thing then?
Yes, that's been completed. Yeah.
Okay, that's good, because they'll be glad to hear that before winter, because last year they were getting tipped off. They were scared of some little child falling into one of those holes, so.
Yes, apologies. Yes.
Yeah,
That was supposed to be placed. Thank you.
okay, thank you.
Okay, anybody else? See nobody, we'll move on to the Development Officer's report. See no questions, we'll move on to, you-
I think it's in there that I saw it, and I'm trying to remember where I saw it. Is it, that's our new employee?
Yes.
Yeah, so I think that's where I saw, like, there was somebody up in my area looking to get a change made in the, what is it, rural general zone, in order to have, I think it was a dog kennel. What is the procedure when somebody, I know when we passed the plan, it was available that somebody could, you know, if they wanted to change to allow something to go in their area. What procedure do they go under to make, they just said they wanted to visit with somebody here, but I know there's a procedure.
Logan?
Yeah, thanks. Thanks for the question. And I believe we did speak to the property owner on this one.
Okay,
And certain things that they're currently doing with their current business are allowed, or they would be grandfathered for, and then certain things would be new and they wouldn't be grandfathered for. So what they would need to do is either go for a rezoning, or we would have to go and change the permitted uses in the zone that they're in. So, and regardless of which one of those you do, it's treated like a bylaw amendment essentially. And we know we're going to be going through an amendment for the agricultural anyway. So that's probably the time to look at this, is to and determine with our consultant which is the best way to go for that. But that's within that 8 to 12 month period that we need to get back on those. And that would be no longer really than if they were going to apply for a rezoning or something like that to make it work, because that requires council approval, that kind of thing as well.
it takes that long. That's why I'm wondering about the process. It takes 8 to 12 months then for,
Yeah.
to get a rezoning if you want to put something in an area that doesn't fit right now.
Yeah, it'd be about the same amount of time overall. So it'd be better just to handle them all as a single amendment when we're, in my
Doing it.
opinion, when we're going through the rest of them.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay. See nobody else, the next is the Emergency Service Report. Let's see, next is the Fire Services Governance Report. Brian, do you want to speak on that?
Sure. Evan isn't here tonight, but he was away last week at a conference dealing with emergency management, so he did have a conversation with the province on this. The province have not responded to the study as of yet. They've received it. They've not provided any response to it, and they've not provided a timeline to which they will respond. So a lot of what's in the study is, at this point, just up in the air until the province ultimately come out and say, this is what we're going to accept or not accept. So Evan provide probably more of a more detailed, but that's kind of the very high level where it's at right now. It's with the department.
Okay. Warden?
I'm disappointed. I thought I gave some heads up time and asked for this so that Evan would be able to just kind of Reader's Digest. There's 50-some pages. I think I read through some of it. Every now and then I skip a piece so I get further along. But there's a lot in there. I mean, if they just plan on putting it on the shelf on top of the 7 others, then we don't need to worry about it. But Minister Laura said very clearly that he doesn't plan on doing that. That he plans on acting on this. So I don't know when, but they made it sound like they had it on a speeded up version, and I brought it up with our fire department in West River on Saturday, had a meeting there, and they basically just said, well, they'd have to find some new people to run the fire department here. As soon as we pick the chief instead of them, that they'd be going out the door. So maybe they won't, maybe they'll just handpick a few little pieces, but I think they're out to make this fit into their bigger, EMO, emergency management department, and to get all fire departments to fit under that. So I think if it's anywhere close to what's in that agreement, then it has a whole lot to do with our local fire departments and will upset a lot. Not saying I disagree with it all or agree with it all, but there's a lot in there, and I thought if we had a chance to sort of hit the highlights some here tonight, but I guess if we want to wait till they decide to do something, we may not have as much opportunity, I don't know. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor McDonald.
Yeah, from what I read in the thing, it said that we have to approve the chief. We do not have to pick it. We have to approve it at the council stages in that literature, but it has to be approved by the province before we do anything here. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor Don Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, I was at the board meeting with the warden there on Saturday. They're quite concerned about the report with the picking a new chief. If they pick a chief for the fire department and we don't approve it, then that's going to be a problem. And if we approve it, it won't be a problem. But if we don't approve it, make them pick another one. You could end up with a lot of volunteer firefighters quitting. So that's one of the big issues in that report. It's a huge, long report. There's all kinds in there about funding, which is something that's desperately needed, better funding methods. Maybe the problem's kicking in some money. There's just so much detail in that. If you had it broken down, like the warden was asking for a Reader's Digest version, I think it'd be good, and that would Evan Hale be the proper guy to do it. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay. What's that?
Just provide a quick comment. So yeah, Evan will do that presentation. Unfortunately, he could not be here tonight due to unforeseen circumstances. So.
Yep. We will get it eventually, okay? So we'll move on for the fire inspection report. See any questions? The building officials report. Are we getting any questions? And next is the bylaw officers report. Okay, we'll move on to business items that required action. So the first is District 4. There's 2 streetlights there. One is at the intersection of Murray Road and Cape John Road, and the other one is at 42 Queen Street, River John. One's an intersection and one's just an ordinary streetlight. Councillor Bailey. Sure. Or, okay, we'll do them separate then. Okay, first one, intersection.
Make a motion that the streetlight be at the intersection of the Murphy Road and the Cape John Road.
It's moved and seconded. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor signify Oh, sorry, got to have the vote. So. Huh? We'll vote on it, will we? Or will we just? No. Okay, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Count by nay. Motion carried. Next is 42 Queen Street, River John. Councillor Bailey.
This here streetlights is inside of the streetlight district for District 4, so I'll move for a streetlight to be installed at 42 Queen Street.
Okay. It was moved and seconded. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Count by nay. Motion carried. Next is District 7, intersection of Highway 4 and Mount Tom Road.
I'll make a motion that we approve the streetlight for the intersection of Highway 4 and Mount Tom Road.
Okay. It's moved and seconded, seconded by Councillor Bailey. All those in favor, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Count by nay. Motion carried. Next is District 9, 1948 Fraser's Mountain Road, Fraser's Mountain. Councillor Bowles.
Move that we have a street light installed at 1948 Fraser's Mountain Road in Fraser's Mountain.
I'll second it.
It was moved and seconded. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye.
All right.
Count by nay. Motion carried. Next is District 12, Councillor Dorr.
Thank you. A year ago, I asked about this, and the reason why I was asked by the resident up there, Robert Manning and his wife, that wanted to have a street light. They drive buses, and in the mornings, as we know now, right away it'll be dark, very dark in the morning, and that's the end of the road when wintertime comes. And it used to be the grader, the snowplow would go up and just swing into the Scout Camp Road and then just back out of there and just to turn themselves. So there's not the friendship, I don't think, anymore with the highways and the school board for cleaning out turning places, and this driveway's always cleaned out. So then it was taken forever, and I brought it up a few times, and Logan went and looked at it for me, and then they told me that both neighbors would have to agree, the other neighbor would have to agree to it. Well, he certainly wasn't going to agree to anything that was going to cost him more than anything. The lot right beside this property is vacant. The lot on the other side is vacant. And then there's a vacant old farm, and then it's all blueberry fields. So on the other side, there's a driveway goes up to one of the towers. It's likely Bell or communication towers of some kind. So the reason they wanted it was they could get turned there in the wintertime. If there was other buses go up there, high school or whatever, they just to make it safe. And that's the reason I brought it up, and they thought that was great. So anyway, it hasn't happened, and it's not likely going to happen unless everybody along there would want to have a street light, and I'm pretty sure most of them wouldn't, because that's why they want to live up there in the woods or up back of the lake, right? And but I could check it out, but the only reason, and like I just said, the only reason I thought it was a perfect place to put a street light, I could have said it was an intersection light or something, the intersection of one road and no road. But anyway, we didn't do that. We just did it for the safety of the buses and the people that are going up there in the dark to turn. So it's at a standstill now because the other neighbor doesn't want to do it. And I understand our engineer went up and he looked at it again. He's been very good to go look, and all I need is a transformer. But anyway, one time I think I could have likely got that too, but that changed too. But anyway, I just wanted to say what I knew about this, and It's not happening, and I just wanted it done for safety and no other reason. I
Okay.
don't know if you have anything to add to that, Logan? How do you shut this off? No, you just push it.
Thank you, Councillor Dewar, and through you, Mr. Chair. No, I don't really have anything else to add, aside from that, you know, the location seemed perfectly fine for a streetlight. The unfortunate thing is that there's not a current area rate established there, so people there aren't paying for it, and one of the two residents has told Councillor Dewar that they don't want it, so one of them wants it, one of them doesn't want it, and unfortunately that puts us in the tough situation of not having the consensus. So, but I mean, it makes sense for a lot of reasons to have a light there, but we just don't have an area rate there as of right now.
Okay. Okay, we'll move on then. Request for a sidewalk in Alma. Councillor Don Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to put a motion on the floor here, and once I put the motion on the floor, Mr. Chair, I'd like to speak to it after it's seconded here.
Yep, go ahead.
The motion I want to put on the floor is to add to this year's capital project list the construction of a sidewalk from the crosswalk on Highway number 4 in Alma to the entrance of the Alma Loop, which is approximately 150 meters.
Just move and second it. Okay, Councillor Parker?
All right, thank you, Mr. Chair. The principal of Northumberland Regional High School, Matt O'Toole, contacted me in the email that everybody has, I believe, and asked if County Council would be willing to build a new sidewalk on Highway 4 in Alma. The reason for this new sidewalk is to make it safe for over 900 students to evacuate the high school when there's a fire or other emergency at the school. The muster point is the Alma Fire Hall. Without a sidewalk, the students have to walk on Highway 4, which is not safe to reach the muster point. I spoke to Logan, and he gave me an estimated cost of between $50,000 and $60,000. So I'm just going to put that there for discussion.
Okay, Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I concur with Councillor Parker's assessment of the situation. It's in my district as well, and I took a drive out there the other day to have a look at the situation. And if there's any particular need for a sidewalk anywhere, I would say that it's there. Based on safety of all those students, I think that we really should consider putting this in this year's capital budget. Thank you.
Warden Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I know that area well, and I know how busy and convoluted that highway can be at times. So, of course, you never know when there's a fire or whatever type of emergency it is at the high school, and you'd do good to keep kids on a sidewalk, but if you don't have one, then they're going to be covering half or 3/4 of the pavement as you trump 900 students up to the Alma Fire Hall. So they don't need to make the sidewalk, and I think it's only measured to the point where the road sort of veers off where the old highway was there. From there on, they're fine. It's only up to that point. So I think that's the amount, the measured amount that Donnie gave us. I think it should be a priority because it's a safety issue, and the principal of the schools asked us to consider it. So I would support the motion. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? Step down to the next question. I'll step down and give it to, after Darla speaks, to Councillor Wallace, I think. No? Oh, Councillor Dorr. Okay, Councillor McKeel.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. While I understand the importance of this sidewalk, I think I understand that we have students in an emergency that need to get to a muster point. He did say in his email that this hasn't been used, he hasn't done this in years. And it's a, what is it, a code black, he hasn't completed this drill in years. And, you know, it's something that will only be used in case of emergency. And yes, that's very important. But I do have a little reservation with that. I'd like to know what the protocol is in a code black, or if there was a fire there. Do they have traffic control on that road? Do they shut the road down? I mean, if you're having, you know, hundreds and hundreds of students walking, and there's an emergency, keeping them on the sidewalk is going to be hard on a good day, let alone an emergency. So I'd like to know what protocols are in place for that, if they shut the road down, if they, and how that works. I think I just need a little more information. While I understand it's a safety issue, and I think it's the utmost importance that we have safety in place for our students, like I said, I'm not saying it's a sidewalk that's not going to be used very often, if at all, but it is important to have an emergency. I don't know if anybody can answer those questions that I have.
I don't think so.
I don't think so. Okay.
Nobody has the answer, so. I'll step down. Councillor Dorr, do you want to take over and I'll ask a question?
Okay, go ahead, Counselor.
Okay, my only concern is like this fiscal year, we're getting very near to the end, right, of being able to do any work. We'll have to tender that out. You'd have to come up with a design and everything like that. You have to go through the province, right? And I'm telling you, that's not going to be quick. So then you're into the winter months, and to do a sidewalk in the winter months, it's not a great thing. My other concern is, it's this fiscal year, our budget was approved last year. Where's the money coming from out of this budget? That's the other thing. I think we're better off if we do it during budget time and have it ready to go out at the first of the year, right? I know it doesn't help, but I'm the same as Councillor McKeel. Like when you got 800-900 students going to go up that fire hall, and they're going to be walking across that trunk 4, you know, sidewalk or no sidewalk. It's not going to be. They're not going to be single file. I know that. So, but my concern is with the budget for this year and getting the approvals and getting it done this fiscal year. I don't think it's really possible. Thank you.
He's got the right lights.
Okay. Yep. Warden Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I don't disagree with you that it's late in the year, it's almost the end of October. By the time we got anything done, we would be into the middle of winter. And we sure don't want to be building sidewalks in the middle of winter, I don't think. And I wonder if we could change the motion to where, you know, at budget time in the next season, because it is really too late to get it done this year. But I also think it might be useful to ask Mr. O'Toole and maybe the fire chief from Alma or whatever to come here some night and answer some of the questions that Councilor McKeel's asking or that you were asking. Those are the people that are going to deal with it if it ever happens. They want the kids far enough away from the school that they're not going to be in any harm's way, and that's why they're not just putting them out behind the school or down at the end of the road or something. They're taking them quite a ways away for a reason, I think, and I think it'd be nice to hear from the people who are going to have to deal with that emergency if it comes someday.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councillor Walls.
Yeah, I can understand trying to get the sidewalk, you know, if it's unsafe and even if it's only used never, you know, as long as it's there. But the thing is I was just wondering, didn't they do an emergency thing out there where they did clear the school out and stuff like that, and I was just wondering, is that where it showed they needed the sidewalk, or, I thought they did that at one time, they had an emergency evacuation out there, yeah. I just wonder how that turned out.
Councillor Parker.
Wait for the, yeah, no, I don't know the answer to that. I'm just going by what Mr. O'Toole put in his email, and what he's asking for is a proper, safe exit for all these students when they need to get out of that school. And as soon as they cross that crosswalk, there's a sidewalk goes to the store, or they want a sidewalk to go the opposite direction to give them room to keep them off the road, basically. That's the whole idea of the sidewalk. But, I mean, we can get people here to speak on it, but I don't really think that's gonna change it much, but, whatever council wishes here, I'd have to ask Councillor Turner what he thinks there, it's in, this area.
Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. In regards to evacuation, schools do this on a regular basis. They do drills on a regular basis, and this is a code black where they have to evacuate the school. There's a lot of codes where there's lockdowns, where the schools get locked down. This is in that case. This is where they have to evacuate the school, and it has to be done quickly, and they have to bus the students away. So that's the reasoning. That's the rationale that I used in seconding the motion. But in terms of financing it, if it's council's wishes here, because it's not going to be built this fall, obviously, and it's not going to be built through the winter, obviously. So if council's looking to get it built, perhaps we can get it on a list and get all the work done up front on it and put it at a priority in the spring and get it done quickly in the spring. So if we want to change your motion, Councillor Parker, to that, I'll support it.
Withdraw the motion, is that what we want to do, or?
Why don't you make a motion to ask the Director of Public Works to look into a design off the sidewalk, that sidewalk, to have it all ready for next year's budget, so.
All right.
Okay?
Can you word that?
Yeah, you'll have to withdraw the first motion.
Yeah, okay, I'll withdraw that motion,
And then
just
ask the Director of Public Works to look into the design,
yeah. Can you
off
do
the-
that?
so, okay?
And we'll get it on next year's capital list, perhaps,
Yeah.
hopefully.
I can't see, it would never be done this year anyway.
No, I
so-
figured it'd be next spring
Yeah.
sometime before it got to the,
Yeah.
you know, capital list meeting and decide where to go
Yeah.
with it, but I was just trying to get it on
On the list, yeah.
the list, I guess.
Councillor Turner, did you want to second that, or? Huh? You'll second it? Okay. Any questions? Seeing none, all those in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Count by nay. Motion carried. Next is deferred business, sanitary sewer lateral charges. Director of Public Works, Logan, you want to run us through that? Your recommendations was in our package there, so.
Yeah, I can speak to that, Mr. Chair. So as directed by Municipal Council, our staff reviewed sanitary sewer lateral charges in similar municipalities around northern Nova Scotia. And we found, by and large, that our fees are somewhat low today for sanitary sewer lateral charges. Different municipalities deal with them in different ways. However, based on the information that we found and the belief that, based on historical increases, that installation costs will continue to rise, and the fact that we haven't changed our sanitary sewer lateral fees in many years, our recommended lateral charges would be to increase the lateral charge when somebody receives the lateral during the construction of a major capital project such as the sewer main from $2,500 to $3,000, and also to increase those that are completed after those major capital projects from $2,500 to $5,000, acknowledging the greater costs required when doing them on a one-off basis. We also have current charges of $250 for every additional user unit that's serviced beyond the first unit. So if you think about an apartment building or something like that where there might be 3 or 4 units, the property is currently charged $2,500 for the first unit, and then an additional $250 for each subsequent unit. This is all broken out in our sanitary sewer charges bylaw. So what I'm recommending is that $250 for every subsequent unit be increased to $300, for every subsequent user unit, in a similar way to the way in which we increased the $2,500 to $3,000. And finally, I'm recommending that subsequent laterals installed after a first lateral, as we currently deal with them today, be the responsibility of the property owner to have installed. So if somebody, for whatever reason, wants another lateral installed on their property, and we would find it permissible to do so because normally we only allow one lateral, then those fees would be paid by the property owner. And likewise for larger or specialized laterals, that those costs be borne of those developers. So if you think about a larger apartment building or business, that kind of thing. And with a special note that municipal council, as always, would have the option to consider reducing, removing, or otherwise contributing to such charges, similar to what council had decided to do with the affordable housing project in Alma about 2 years ago. So those are the overall recommendations, and happy to take any questions that anybody may have.
Okay, thank you, Logan. Councillor Boyles.
Yeah, thanks, Logan. I was just wondering, like, we're 2,500, or you want to put 3,000 for the first initial hookup, and then go to 5,000 for the second one. Is that covering our expenses?
Thank you. That's a great question. It would not cover all of our expenses for most developments. What we were trying to do was strike the balance between still being attractive for development and not overly burdensome on property owners, but also trying to recoup more costs that we're currently incurring. Most laterals that we're installing will cost a minimum today of around $8,000. At times they can be less than that, but in situations where we have to cross the road, such as a provincial road, by directional drilling, they can cost, even for standard laterals, up to $12,000. So we weren't trying to necessarily cover the entirety of the cost because we didn't want to overly burden property owners, but we were trying to strike the right balance there.
So we're not out trying to, nickel and dime them. We're really saving the money, but we're just trying to protect ourselves a little, I guess, is what we're looking at.
Yes, and so also strike the balance with, thank you, also strike the balance with not overly burdening other taxpayers for individuals' property, sanitary sewer laterals as well.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Councillor Turner.
No, I've taken my name off there.
Oh, did you take?
Yeah.
Okay. Warden Parker.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I find these acceptable numbers. When I sign the checks every 2 weeks, or Wayne does, we can't help but notice a large amount of costs, on some of these laterals, and many of them up in the $11,000-12,000. I thought there were some higher than 12, but in all fairness, you don't want to make them so high that people can't handle them. But on the other hand, it is, like you said, taxpayers. The taxpayers aren't getting any service that are in a lot of our county would never get any type of service, are paying for that extra. So I agree with trying to find that balance between what's fair to the person that's putting it in, but also fair to the other taxpayer. But the other thing I like about what's in there is that we're treating, everybody's paying the same, so we're not saying if you live on this side of the road, it's more than you live on that side. And that I know was in the original, and I think it's good that it's out of there because it only causes hurt feelings and a whole lot of fights for nothing. This way, the overall is paying for it anyway, but you don't have that two different charges, one on one side of the road or the other. That's a good part of what you got here, I think. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Wadden.
Yes, I'd just like to make a motion that we accept the staff's recommendation for the laterals.
Okay. Move and second it. Any questions on the motion? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Count my nay. Motion carried. Okay, next is motions of reconsideration. Seeing none, I'll adjourn the meeting for property services.
Okay, so everybody has to sign in.
All right, everybody has to sign in again.
Yeah, just tap.
We're all good? Okay. All right, everyone, I will call Financial Services meeting to order. I'd like to begin by acknowledging that we are in Mi'kma'ki, the ancestral and unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq people. First, we need approval of tonight's agenda. It's moved by Councillor Boyles, seconded by Councillor Turner. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Is there any emergency resolutions this evening? Any emergency resolutions? Councillor Dewar.
Out there, okay? And I was
Can it-
figuring that this might be the time to say something about it, but we don't have that opportunity to just bring up something new anymore. It had to be in last week, and I heard about it different times, but I didn't want to bring it up, but then I heard about it quite a bit on the weekend, okay? And it's something that concerns everybody, in all of us here tonight too, okay? So, it's all right just to say it?
Sure, or we can make two community announcements at the end if you'd
Okay.
like to do it there.
That'll be fine.
Okay.
Thank you.
Oh, no. If it's an emergency, I guess we should. Okay. Do we agree around the table? Okay, it's agreed. Go ahead.
In the last 6 weeks, there's many children in Pictou County schools getting any milk. Okay? There's no milk in the schools. And remember, everybody had that deal, they get their milk for 35 cents or 50 cents or whatever, it was 40 cents now. But ever since this new program.
Press your mic. Your mic. No, it was off.
Red?
There we go. Sorry. I'm
not
so
too
sorry to
far.
interrupt you,
Okay.
Councilor Dewar.
Sorry, but I'm sure most of you could hear what I was saying anyway. The children aren't getting any milk, and there's no milk in the school. In the first week or so, I said, when's the milk coming? Well, the girls in the kitchen thought it was coming, but it's not coming because they don't want to have cash registers in the school anymore with this new plan. But maybe none of you has heard that before, but I heard it on the weekend, and I heard it again on the weekend. So I'm just bringing it up, that at least the kid should be allowed to get a drink there somewhere, because there's nothing but water in there right now at McLeod School and the rest of them, okay? In the big schools, there's the vending machines, but in the little school, in the elementary school, in the consolidated schools. But I just wanted you to know about it, that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Councillor Dewar, for bringing that forward. Did they have do they know when they're expecting deliveries of milk, or it's just done? And it's been this whole entire, just for clarification, it's been this whole entire year there hasn't been any milk at the schools? No. Go ahead, Councillor, or Warden Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. To me, this is an emergency. If there's no milk at the schools, and all of us sitting here assumed there was, to me, it qualifies as an emergency. Number one, not that that's going to make a difference, but I heard something back earlier, maybe it was in the summertime sometime, that they were thinking of not having milk in the schools. And I think it goes back to the fact that we don't have local dairies anymore that wanted to have milk in their schools, and there was a subsidized program for that. All of our dairies now are out of Quebec. And pardon me? Yeah, they're not out of local at all. And I think we need to look back and find out why the milk isn't coming. I think there's a reason why, and I've got a strong feeling that it was a decision made. It wasn't that people forgot to deliver the milk. That there was a decision made somewhere to, now it might be, like you said, connected to cash registers. Well, that's a pretty poor excuse if we're going to keep the kids from getting milk because we don't want any cash registers to come up with some other way. But I think it's something that we urgently need to look into as an emergency to find out what's going on. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Thank you very much, Warden Parker. Okay, so I guess we'll leave this to be looked into, and hopefully we'll have some answers on a future agenda. Is that what we'd, where do we go? Department of Education?
And just see what their opinion is. As far as they say they don't want cash registers, every school still has their cash registers just under the cupboard there. But it was part of the deal. Maybe some of these people now that are picking out the menus think milk's no good for you. I don't know how it works anymore, right? Because the way that I understood it kind of went out the window years ago. Thank you.
Councillor Dewar, do you want to make a motion to either direct staff or so we can get this move forward?
When it's flashing green, I'm all right. Okay. I'd like to make a motion to find out why the children in the municipality of Pictou County in the elementary schools haven't got milk. I need a seconder.
Okay, it's been seconded by Warden Parker. Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Right. Right. Thank you, Councillor Dewar, for bringing us that to our attention this evening. Next, we'll move on to minutes for September 15th, 2025. Are there any errors, omissions, corrections to the minutes? Any errors, omissions, or corrections to the minutes? Seeing none, we'll consider those approved. We have received a thank you for our Pictou County Regional Library for the one-time funding assistance. They wrote a very nice letter in there and raised some points as well. Any discussion on that? Okay, seeing none, we'll move along. We have the communications report for the month of September. Any questions, comments? Okay, seeing none. Oh, sorry, go ahead, Councillor Boyles.
Yeah, I was just wondering on like the thing about the fire departments and other things that other councillors are getting, I'm not getting. Like the warden called, was talking the other day about it, and he turned and I said, I don't have that. Couldn't find it anywhere. So I just wonder if there's something happening with mine, you know, system that I'm not getting it, or somewhere I could get it checked to find out what's happening, but I have nothing on it.
I think, I don't want to speak for the emails, but that email, I think, was just, there was no report. It was just the letter that we received from
I went through everything to turn around to see what I could find. I couldn't find nothing on at all. I don't know, the warden was going to send me it again. Did you send it? Oh, okay. Yeah, well, I never received it anyway, so so somewhere I can get it checked or whatever, just to see what is happening. If there is something, maybe not, it happened before. That's why I'm wondering.
Maybe it'd be good to make arrangements to bring your laptop, or bring your
Yeah,
iPad in.
okay, thank you.
It's important that we have all our information. Absolutely. Okay, Councillor Parker.
I'd like to turn. I was just gonna say, on my laptop or tablet, Councillor Boyle's at the very top, there's 3 headings. One's property, one's finance, and then there's a slide over, and it's that fire department one. There's 3, right? And then you hit that 3rd one that gives you that whole 50 pages from about the fire department. I don't know if yours is set up like that or not, but it's at the very top of the heading.
When you find that,
Yeah, okay.
And they have updated the look of Outlook, the email server, so it has updated and it has changed, so, yeah. Yeah, no, absolutely. Okay, recreation report for the month of September. Any questions, comments on the recreation report for the month of September? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to the warden's report. Again, for the month of September, any questions, comments for the warden on his report? Go ahead, we'll start with Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Could you give us a little more information on your meeting with the residents of Little Harbour regarding alternative housing ideas, please?
Should have turned red. Okay, I'm on. Yes, there was a resident from down that way, and I'm not sure if she contacted, well, I know she contacted both myself and Councillor Wadden, and so requesting a meeting to see if they could look at a different way on housing, more trying to, it's like the government now pushes granny suites and whatnot out back, and but it was a different way of doing things than that. It was for some seniors, but on the same properties, so they get more properties on, on the one lot, so that they could have, in this case, it was family. They could, whether it was her mother or father or his, I forget now, but there was, 2 or 3 other lots or houses that were going to be on that one lot, and looking to see if that was doable. And probably Mr. Dowell could probably explain it better. He was there that day, and they wanted to put several houses in a field, I guess it was. Quite a bit, there was lots of area. It was just to have her parents and maybe some other relative reasonably close. So it was a way of looking at doing things a little differently, so that seniors maybe aren't in a senior's home, but they're somewhere close to somebody that can care for them, I guess. And that was going to take a little bit of jigging in terms of what our rules are right now, maybe. Do you have anything to add to that, Logan, or?
Yeah, thanks. I think for us, the key consideration, we do have a bit of flexibility in our new bylaw to consider multiple dwelling units. So a granny suite would be considered, for example, as another dwelling unit on a property. And none of our areas that allow residential wouldn't allow multiple dwelling units. So we're fairly advanced and somewhat accommodating if you think about it through that lens. Some municipalities have a lot more specifically around things like granny suites or specific words around that, but we would look at them like a dwelling unit, that kind of thing. Similar to like an apartment building where you could have up to 4 in even your most restrictive zones. So that was how we were thinking that we would get around that kind of thing. Yeah.
But it looked like she could do what she wanted to do, I think,
Yes,
at the end of the
exactly,
day, and maybe open the door for some other people that were considering something similar. A lot of times mom and dad get older and somebody needs to be close to them. And if you could have them on the same lot, to put a house or mini home or whatever there, it just makes life a lot easier. Right?
Yeah. And there's funding out there available for granny suites, like you mentioned. So it's something I think I think once you cross the threshold of the age of 65, there becomes funding available that you can go for through the province. So it's something that we could see more of, and we should be ready to tackle when
ready
they
for
come.
it,
Yeah.
Okay, okay. Counselor Parker?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I was just gonna ask the warden what the meeting with Empire Company, how that, what you learned at that again.
You just gotta press your button.
That's more a courtesy invite. They invite me as because I'm the warden, you're invited to their AGM. It's interesting, and I go because I want to see if they're a big employer in our county for sure. One time you had the opportunity to ask questions, you didn't this time, so I just actually praised them for being here and staying here and whatnot, but there wasn't that opportunity this time. But there's a big meal afterwards. I usually don't have time to go to that. It's down at Crombie House. But it's there, every other company organization has their AGM, but it's very well done. It's held at the theater, and boy, everything is right down to, everything is well prepared. Who's gonna move things and second things is never a question, but it's well done. But it is, I go just in case there's anything new. I go to their grand openings when they've had 3 or 4 grand openings around here, actually, even though there's no new stores. But their grand openings, when they remodeled, they did one in Pictou, and they did one in the west side, not the west side, the Aberdeen Mall, and I think there was one other. They've changed Stellarton, they changed the whole layout. All the coolers are brand new. Everything's like a brand new store. So at 7 o'clock in the morning, they have a grand opening. So you got to get up before breakfast to be there. But now it's just a courtesy thing, and some years I get to go, and some years I don't.
Okay, is there anything else?
Please.
Yep, pressure, yep.
Oh, I lost it on there, it doesn't matter. Anyway, looking at my list and say, you didn't do much this month. I usually have 15 or 20 things, but I was able to go to Ireland, thank God, for 10 days. And then I come back and had COVID for 10 days, so that's why the list is a lot shorter.
Well,
Thank you, Madam Chair.
highlights and lowlights.
Yeah,
Highlights and lowlights. Okay, seeing there's no more questions for the warden, we'll move along. Next, we have the internet report for the month of September. Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have a series of questions here regarding the internet report, and if you will indulge me, I have 3 or 4 questions here.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it. We'll start with governance. We had talked about governance probably 4, 5, 6 months ago in terms of putting a governing body in place to oversee what's happening with our internet project. Can council be updated on how we're getting along with that, please?
I'll speak.
Yes, go
Yep.
ahead.
So we are working on that. So we have I guess, a framework to present at some point here, hopefully within the next month or so, just on governance, what that will look like. So we'll have a report back on that. As I say, hopefully fairly soon.
Okay, thank you. Second question is regarding commercial uptake. We kind of have reports given to us that are based on residential uptake, but is there any reporting to be made on commercial uptake? Brianna?
Yeah, so I can speak to that. Commercial's actually gone very well recently. We did have a quick check the other day, and we have at least 50 different commercial services online right now. So the commercial portion alone, we are generating over $10,000 a month in revenue off those, which equates out to about $200 a subscriber. Now that varies within there, but that's the most recent update on the commercial side. There's quite a few more other businesses that are just awaiting for us to have phone service available to them. And that is finally ramping up after a very long year, so looking forward to that. And I expect much higher numbers on the commercial side coming into the new year once we're able to offer them the full line of services that they require, and that will allow them to go ahead and make that switch to us from their current providers.
Okay. How's it being sold? How, is it actively being sold by, and if it is, by whom?
So it is actively being sold in the sense that all commercial properties are marked as commercial within our operating system. And on the general marketplace, if you do go and search up a commercial address, you're going to see what commercial services are available to you there today. Currently, it's internet, but there is a few different internet packages there depending on your needs. So that is the extent of it. Beyond that, there's not been a mass marketing approach towards commercial, and that's because before we go and invest in that and put our faces out and try to ramp up that business, we want to make sure that it's not a wasted attempt, I guess. So once we have the commercial phone in place as well, and we can provide everything they need, that will be the time where we will really put the effort into going back through all serviceable areas and hitting all the businesses that we've not already spoke with.
Just a couple more, if I may.
Yes, go ahead.
In terms of the financials, we get marketing information here, but we don't get financial information regarding the report. When can we expect regular financial information coming with our reports?
I'll pass that to you, Brian.
We actually just, within the last couple weeks, finalized kind of the formatting and overall business plan, so we should be able to start reporting on that. But I guess we've matched it probably up better to our GL and things like that, so it'll give us the ability to report it better or easier, I guess, on either probably a quarterly basis. I would think we'd probably do it type thing. So
By when?
We'll say probably by we'll say December will be probably the quarter.
Okay, thank you. And just one more quick one. There's a baseball game on tonight, and I have Bell right now, and I have the ability to record and the ability to restart. So if we go to 10 o'clock tonight, I hope we don't, but if we go to 10 o'clock tonight, I can go home and restart the baseball game and start go from scratch, okay? So I'd like, if you could speak to the TV package, the phone package that's coming along with the internet, because that's one of the, I stream a lot of stuff, but I also use TV as well. And that's one of the hesitations I have from going from Bell to our own network. But Rhiannon has assured me that I'm going to be able to restart a baseball game. So if you can kind of bring us up to date on the TV package and the phone package and how that's coming along. That's my last question. Thanks.
So currently we do have a partnership with vMedia. They are available on our network. Currently they do have home phone, TV packages, and security. Now, beyond being an authorized seller on our network, that is the extent of our involvement. Basically, it's just now enabled on our network. What we have coming up is a new partnership, which we're going to be, our internet and our staff is going to be far more integrated with. The TV service is backed by TiVo, which probably a number of people have heard of before. They have a really long-standing history in the communications and TV entertainment industry, I guess. And on there, you can record your TV. You can even have your TV split into 4 separate screens, so you can watch 4 different games at one time if that was of interest to you. So in saying that, it's a really good platform. It works very well, and it's very high-end, more to what you would expect on your regular services that you would see here today. The phone service that we have coming, which will also be able to be bundled with MOPC's internet services. So now you're talking one bill, phone, TV, and internet. We will, same as TV, will be the first point of contact for phone. So with the new service we're bringing online, we have back-end support. We have access into their support systems and their portals for basically viewing customers' connections and being able to support in the first stage of troubleshooting if that was to occur. So now we will be a strong competitor in our market, especially in some of the areas where they are already served. So we'll be able to offer our triple play. We will have the ability to bundle and provide better bundling prices. And we'll have one first point of contact being the municipality, which I know has really been positive for a number of customers that we're now serving. So that's what's coming up with the phone and TV.
The time here, but I'm 65 years old, 66 years old. And one of the programs that I see that's being offered is like a differentiator in the marketplace. And in order to be successful in business, you really have to differentiate yourself from your competition. And the one that really is driving home to me is the seniors program that you have. And maybe you could speak a little bit to that in terms of the service that you're going to give seniors. I think that's an outstanding program, by the way.
Sure. So
Thanks.
I guess we're going to have a live sneak peek tonight because this is just still coming out of marketing, all the details on it. But what we're going to offer is we basically identified that a good 33% of Pictou County's population are senior citizens, and something that we recognize is the learning curve, I guess, with digital platforms and internet and all the things that come with that. So what we're proposing is putting together a seniors plan, which basically includes a bunch of benefits to the seniors. There'll be longer install appointments where our technicians will stick around, make sure every single thing is hooked up, make sure you know how to use all the services that you need to use. This would include setting up your TV and phone services that are bundled with us. They will have priority response times in terms of if there's ever emergencies or lines going down, we would prioritize them to make sure our seniors are back online. We will do biannual reach outs, so somebody within the office would reach out, make sure that everything is going well, they're able to use their services, everything is working as it should. We would offer additional payment options, which could include personal checks, which is certainly appealing to a lot of our seniors. They don't always like to use credit cards or have automatic recurring payments. It can also be having another family member on your account to help manage your service. So perhaps it's a mom and a dad, and their child is looking over their account, so we would have that set up to enable that. That's a little bit about it that I can think of offhand. Won't be putting them through strenuous amounts of troubleshooting over the phone. We would roll the truck and assist the senior citizen. So we're really hoping that this does help our seniors in our community make the change. If they're unsure, or they're not sure where to start or what to do, we would be there to really basically offer them a white glove service and walk them through it every step of the way. Thank you. You're welcome.
It's wonderful. Okay, Councillor Wadden.
Well, thank you, Madam Chair. Rhiannon, I was just wondering about the Pictou Landing First Nations, if there's been any movement on that issue.
There has not been.
Okay.
No, yeah, there was some people were at the connectivity conference, I want to say, and there's a little bit of information brought back, but beyond that, there's been no work towards, no further communication towards building fiber into the community. At this point in time, we will be serving them with the wireless, the upgraded wireless that's coming, so that will be an option to them that they didn't have previously. But I do hope that when we get through this immediate phase and timeline and project that we're in, that we can go back and revisit that and see if they do have any interest, because it'd be nice and be a good area where we could possibly look at extending in the future.
Sure. Did you meet with them at any time, or was it just a quick discussion?
No, we did meet with them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
We did.
All right, good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Councillor McDonald.
Just a couple questions. Under the District 1, the communities that's under construction, when can we expect some of them to see installations and that stuff start?
So if we look at District 1 specifically, the areas that you're going to see come up first are coming out of Sutherland's River and heading down through French River, Woodfield, Blue Mountain, Micklefield. I guess we're kind of coming over out of your area there. So anything down through Kensieville and down to Barney's River Station. Those areas you can expect by year-end construction says, so I would expect early 26 installations into homes. Following right after there will be the area along Shore Road. And the holdup is basically the highway crossing at Sutherland's River, which is why the upper part will come before the Shore Road section. Because we do know we haven't gotten that back yet, and we anticipate a little bit more of a wait based on past experience. So that section you would expect to be done by probably summer.
And one other question, the pre-buys and that stuff, can any of these people on here now pre-buy or pre?
I don't think anybody can today. However, the next section coming, those sections that I just rattled off to you, those will be coming up in the very near future.
Okay.
Yeah, they'll be online. When they search their address, they'll see that they can pre-order, at which time we'll also go back and see anybody in those areas that had provided surveys or indicated their interest in one of our previous systems. We'll reach out to them and let them know they can go ahead and search their options and see what's available.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. Councillor Bailey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess one of the things I have a bit of an issue with is why we're getting into the home phone. Based on the last election, our council election, it seemed to be more of a drive of taking the people disconnecting their home phones versus getting or updating them. And I question as to if it's really worth our while getting into it, but that's just my opinion, and I question that. My question is for the areas under construction prior to this month, pretty near all District 4 was on there, and now they're off, which is great, but I'm still talking to people and saying, have you tried the fiber op from the county? And they said, no, we don't have fiber op in our road. So what I would like, and this is just my district, I would like to know for District 4 as to where the fiber op is run. And then we can assume that where it's not or where they can't get hooked up to it, then it goes to the tower on the mountain road, which would be wireless. But that seems to be a question that people still, like I was at an action meeting last week and the internet was brought up at that, and I said, well, have you tried the county? And they said, no, we're fiber op. And I'm sure the fiber op is run by their place, but anyway, that's what I'm looking for, is just a list of the roads that the fiber op is installed in District 4, and I don't know if any other councilor wants that or not, but anyway, that's what I'm looking for.
Okay. Councillor Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm just wondering, Rhiannon, about the wireless, the new wireless system. Is it the Toronto system? Is that working really well, or how's it working, I guess?
Yeah, it's going well so far. So we have it up on the two River John and Eureka towers. We were able to get someone down as far as the very bottom of the Barracan Road off the River John Tower on Toronto, and so that's like a 14-kilometer span, and they're getting over 350 megabit download speeds. So we're really happy with the performance of it so far. We're currently they're basically prioritizing the next couple towers that are going to get done. We're going to be starting with our own that we own first. And we will switch those over, and then we'll move to our co-location towers next year.
Because if that's working really good, that's going to be vital for a lot of people in the country, including my district, that are not going to get the fiber optic run down the roads. And if it's working really well, that's gonna make a huge difference.
Yeah,
And
that's-
You'll get all kinds of people signing up for it. All right, thank you, Madam Chair.
Yes. Counselor Boyles?
How the carrier's coming out and enters this mountain.
So they did their soil tests, and they have made their applications to NAVCAN and all the different places that they have to do for our permitting, so that's well underway. The hope was for that tower to be up by the end of the year, but it's possible, but I wouldn't set my target for there. I would expect early '26. I know it's a high priority site, that one along with the Miragamish Fire Department, so they're actively working on those now, but knowing the timeline of things and coming into winter, I would anticipate early '26.
Okay. Thank you, Rhiannon, for your information. Seeing no more questions, we'll move along. Healthy Pictou County report. Any questions or comments on the Healthy Pictou County report? Warden Parker.
Thank you. So this Healthy Pictou County has been, I think we're in year 7. Nicole, I think that's the one that Nicole works for to try to get more doctors and nurses.
Mm-hmm.
So I went to an information session the other evening, I think it was on last Thursday, held at Summer Street Industries by Nova Scotia Health. And they had all kinds of booths set up around the room, and then there was somebody talked, eventually there was a speaker and whatnot. I had to leave early because I had another meeting to go to, but I think we're making some headway, because they told me for the first time in many, many years that they have a full complement of emergency room doctors. And part of the problem with an emergency room is there's only one doctor a lot of times to see everybody, 27 people in there or something, but now they have whatever that full complement is, I'm not sure, but they have a full complement of emergency room doctors. And for the first time in my memory anyway, they have we're scheduled for 3 psychiatrists here in Pictou County. We have all 3 of those positions filled. For a long time, they had to send you to Truro. If you had any need for psychiatric health, you had to go to Truro. And then they would send somebody over here half-time, one half-time person. So there is those 2 numbers, and they gave out a bunch of other numbers too, but those 2 numbers are the ones that struck with me that, so I think the investment that we made and continue to make in Healthy Pictou County is probably a good one, because that's the only way we're gonna compete with all the rest of them. We're all looking for doctors and nurses and everything too. They did talk about some of these new joint health centers, I forget what they call them, the new one in the old Future Shop. And there's one here in Pictou, I believe, and there's now a new one above Lawton's in the Glasgow. So those kind of cooperative ones where they have all kinds of different skills there. So I came away with the feeling that our investment maybe in this is a good one.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you for that update. Okay, seeing no comments or questions, we'll move along. Tax receivable report for September 2025. As you all know, the tax deadline for payment of taxes was, I guess, last week. So there was still some time still some money to come in. Right, seeing no questions or comments, we'll move along to the deed transfer tax report. And as you see, we're still having very high deed transfer tax here. It's sustaining, maybe even growing. Okay, seeing no comments or questions, we will complete that and move on to reports requiring a motion. First, we have accounts paid for the month of September. Can I have a motion to get this on the floor, please? Moved by Councillor Dewar. Seconded by Councillor Palmer. Open the floor up to comments and questions. Go ahead, Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I keep noting that there is a pretty significant amount of money that's going to take the garbage off of Pictou Island. I think it was last month, it was $12,000, and this month again, it's $12,255 dollars. Is that a typical charge to remove, it says August 25, Pictou Island garbage. Is that a typical month's worth of garbage coming off Pictou Island?
They only do it twice, I believe, twice a year, and that's the second one.
So, okay, so because it was, because I think it was a month or so ago, another invoice had been paid as well for approximately the same. So I wasn't sure whether it was sequential throughout the year or you're only getting 2 of them, so, okay, thank you.
Counselor Wadden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a question on number 24809, the John Rodding Inc., the accounting internet. Why would that be on this report and not on the, like, the internet report financials?
Can you say that check number again?
24809.
24809. Let me see here. Oh, John C. Rodding, yes. Accounting internet. Okay, go ahead, Karen.
So we were instructed to pay it out of general revenue.
Instead of the internet fund? Okay.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. All right, seeing no more comments or questions, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Next, we have internet accounts paid for the month of September. Again, I'm asking for a motion. Moved by Councillor Turner. Seconded by Councillor McDonald. Questions or comments on the internet report for the month of September? All right, seeing no comments or questions, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Okay, next we'll move on to number 9, business items or items requiring action. The first one, this here, is District 2, Little Harbour Community Center request to repurpose grant funding. The Youth Lead Arts Program is asking Council to approve the use of $1,000 grant funding provided by the municipality for a different program. Go ahead, Councillor Wadden.
Thank you. I'd like to make a motion that we grant them the change for their program and just speak to that once I have a seconder.
Sure. You have a seconder?
Second it.
Okay.
Thank you. Earlier this year, when we were doing our budget, I don't know this group had applied for the $2,900, which was the same amount they got last year to run this program, and it ran it for the year for them. Budget-wise, we couldn't afford to give. We didn't have the money in the account, and I understood that, so we were only able to give them $1,000, which she was able to pivot and come up with another program to work this with the children in the area. And I think it's open to anybody. I don't think it's just our area. It's open to anyone. In any case, it's I know the full-time program they had last year was a huge hit, and the kids really enjoyed it. And they even went for a week in the summertime because they were able to get the funding from the residents to have a week program for them. So she was able to pivot and come up with a program that very shortened from what they had last year, but it's something that will work for these kids, and I think it's really important that we continue having this type of workshop for them. It's great showing them leadership. I think it's creatively, it's very good for them. They get along well. It makes them interested in the community. So I think it's just, setting them up to be good future student or residents. So I'd like to see them go ahead and get at least do that much with $1,000 this year. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Seeing no comments, further comments or questions, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. 9.2, District 3, Pictou Island Volunteer Fire Department request for tax exemption. The fire department recently purchased land for a new department and would like to have the land exempted from taxes. If this is approved, council will need to write off $150.77 in taxes for this land during its November meeting. It's your pleasure, councilors.
Move a motion that we approve that $150 and put them on the list for tax rate.
Okay. Warden Parker has made that a motion. We have a seconder? Okay, Counselor Turner. Seeing no questions or comments, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Next, we have District 1, 589 John Munroe Road, Marshy Hope. Pictou County tax request exemption. The Antigonish Snowmobile Association is requesting a property tax exemption for this address, which is used by the club to store and maintain equipment needed for trail operations. Okay, Councillor McDonald has made that motion that we approve the request. It's been seconded by Councillor Palmer. Go ahead, Councillor McDonald.
Yeah, they contacted me about it, and I said to go ahead and apply for it. It's roughly $250 a year, the thing, and it looks after 100 kilometers of Pictou County properties, like roads and that stuff in Pictou County. And it meets up with the Pictou County snow riders and the 347. So I'm for this. Thank you.
Okay. Warden Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So this is the Antigonish Snow Dog Association, but the building is located in Pictou County. Is that building used for any commercial things or only for the storage? Okay, thank you.
Storage only, okay. Councillor Boyles.
Yeah, well, I'm just wondering, same thing, if it's in Antigonish, and they want to have tax exemption on a building, just because it's in Pictou County, it's just for storage. Is everybody and their dog going to come after us now looking for when they got a storage building that they can get tax exemption? I mean, to me, it's something we always do this. We always seem to jump at, oh yeah, to be the good guy, but I'm just wondering, what is going to come in the long run? Are we all going to turn around and, well, we have the halls. They turn around and they want to put a trail somewhere and put a building up and say, well, we'd like to get tax exemption down here because we store our stuff here. That's the only thing I worry about is that, it's like a good thing, but still, it's not Pictou County. It's in Antigonish, and it's going to set a precedent. But
Okay, thank you. Go ahead, Councillor McDonald.
I believe that we do grant snowmobile clubs exemptions in Waterville and Brookfield are exempt, and I don't see why this organization that supplies trails and that stuff for a lot of Pictou County residents, and it's a good thing to have that machine up there in case of snowstorms and that stuff. And I mean, nobody else is going to get up there for a long time without having something like that. Thank you.
Okay. All right, seeing no more questions, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. One nay. Mark Councillor Boyles. Okay, motion carried. 9.4, Pictou Library funding. A new funding agreement between the Pictou Antigonish Regional Library, Town of Pictou, and MOPC has been drafted and requires approval. As you remember, this has been kind of straggling on our agenda for quite some time, and we finally have some information. So I'll turn it over to you, Brian.
Sure. So the agreement that is here is the same agreement that would have been here probably a year ago or close to a year ago. So there's no significant change there. The other information that was circulated is really around the financial side of it. So the projections that were talked about before, the library has basically been operating for a year since it opened. The projections have basically come in exactly where they were kind of predicted to be. So the breakdown on funding is that $60,000 will come from the endowment fund, which was created to basically, there was monies that people donated to the project for kind of a legacy. So that money was put into an endowment fund, and the interest that is generated off of that is $60,000. There's an agreement between the DeCoste and the facility on what are DeCoste expenditures, which are projected at the $33,000, and then the municipal share at $40,000. I believe we budgeted $42,000 in the current fiscal for it. So the project is performing the way it was intended to perform. Other information that was kind of included was the endowment fund and the projected kind of cash flows that would potentially come from that over the next number of years. It does have there is a, when the money is invested or put into the endowment, Heritage Canada will match monies that are put in. Currently, they're matching at 60%. In the past, it's been matched at 80%. So that number fluctuates year to year based on basically the number of requests that Heritage Canada get under the program. That determines the level of what they can match. They have I guess a finite number that they can put in to the program. So there are, over the next number of years, there are other donations that will come in that will go into the endowment fund with the matching contributions. So annually that will be looked at as to what can be paid. I think there's a minimum of 3.5% is paid, but if the fund performs better, there's more money that can be withdrawn. You cannot touch the principal, so the principal is basically locked in forever and a day, and unless the fund was to, for whatever reason, wind up, type thing. So that's basically how that kind of calculation comes through. And then there was the final was kind of an overall budget for the project. So the project did come in on budget, and there's basically a projected kind of surplus at the end of about $113,000, and the library committee has basically recommended that that just be put into a capital reserve for something that might come up in future years, type thing. So that's basically the information that was circulated to you for tonight.
Okay, thank you very much, Brian. Councillor Boyles.
Yeah, again, I just can't understand why we're giving money to, or even pledge money down the road or anything before to other towns, and I don't, you know, I've been heard the argument before when I spoke against stuff like this, is that, oh, well, our people go there. Well, our people go to a lot of places, and we don't give, money to them. I think that last year there was a lot of our rural people turn around and put in for money to, they needed to have certain events they would like to do, or get something going to help our children in rural Pictou County, and they returned, well, I think they got a fraction of what they were supposed to get because they had to cut back somewhere to get it back. But yet we turn around, we're throwing money to another town. We do this all the time. We're always throwing money out to, other towns and supporting their events. I don't see nobody supporting the rural events, but I mean, I turn around and I'm against it. I know that.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Boyles. Councillor Wadden.
I'd just like to put a motion on the floor that we accept the funding formula with the Pictou Library.
Okay, do we have a seconder? Okay.
Could I just speak to that too?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. This is a $12 million project in our county, and it services over 40% of the county residents. So I think that is substantial, and it's drawn a lot of people. If you go down on that waterfront anytime this summer, it was amazing. The people, the activities that went on, it's a real asset for this county, and I'm just so happy that we're a part of it. Thank you.
Yes, go ahead, Ryan Schneider.
Yeah, just on that, and I guess the library prior to this had 21,000 visitors. In its first year, it had 69,000 visit that facility. So
Wow.
just as a piece of information that was said at the meeting. So
Okay. Deputy Warden Murray.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a question on the endowment fund. Was that amount pulled out of the hat, or is that a certain percentage, and will that change year to year? Any idea?
yeah, so the endowment fund is the 60,000 is the actual for the first year. So projecting it out is somewhat, I guess, of a predicted number based on what it has performed over the last number of years. So there is a little bit of history behind the numbers, but it is something that does need to be looked at really on an annual basis to determine how much you want to withdraw from it as well. But it will pay a minimum of 3.5%. So we know that's the minimum return, but it is performing much better than that over the last number of years. So.
Okay. Go ahead.
Can I follow up to that?
Yes.
So the 60,000 was the total amount of interest that was in the account? That's what was taken out, roughly?
That's what was predicted for year one, so that was what was withdrawn. There could have been more of a surplus in there that was left.
Okay. Councillor Boyles.
Yeah, the number that they said go through their library, I just wonder if that's an accurate number, because I remember when we went down to get sworn in at the, that's where we went, and we had to go through the library to get in to where we were going to the cost center to get sworn in. So it just makes me wonder, are they using that same number to turn around and, to pick it up? But it also brings me to, every town got a library. I mean, Trenton got a library, Westbrook got a library, Stuttgart got a library, they all got libraries. And Gloucester's getting theirs all redone over, and it's going to be a great big, then you like to see everybody going there. So it's to say, I don't know why libraries got to be so elaborate for, for somebody to go in and do a little research or something. But I still think that it's something the county shouldn't be doing.
Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Did we budget for this fiscal year?
We did, yeah.
We did? Okay. And the endowment fund, it says new principal, that's what they're assuming every year, that they're gonna get $400,000? That's based on previous numbers?
No, that is based on, they received a donation from the Sobeys Foundation of $2 million, but it was paid over 5 years.
Okay.
So that 400,000 is realized.
Is guaranteed.
Yeah, it is realized money, so.
And then the matching is from the province, from the heritage.
It's from the federal heritage.
So the balance keeps growing quite substantially over the next 5 years anyway.
Yes, it has the potential to.
Yeah. My question is, let's say there's $150,000 there of interest. Will that 150 come and then reduce our portion by whatever let's say it's 200,000 and for the expense for that year, and they get 150 for interest, will that reduce ours to 25,000?
It has that potential,
Has that
and that's why it's reviewed on an annual basis to determine what that number would be. Because to say it would remain at a constant number is not fair to the municipal units when the endowment is generating additional monies, and our expenses could go up, and undoubtedly will go up over time. So that's why it would be reviewed annually to determine what that number is to offset the municipal contributions.
My concerns are basically same as Councillor Boyle's there about, the Glasgow's doing theirs, and if they come, how can we say no, and other groups too. However, in this, who's the committee? Is that Councillor Wadden, and is that, who else is it? Like, because those are the people that will make a decision if they need improvements. I guess it'll come through the library if they need improvements. And are we just talking the library, or are we talking the costs also? But if it's just the library, if they need to do $200,000 worth of improvements, then the county's on the hook for $100,000 for that. But that will have to come back here to council, will it not?
Yes, it would. So the committee is, I think, one rep from the library board. I'm not sure who, if it's the chair or whom they're appointing. And then it would be the mayor and the warden would represent the two units, along with the CAO from town of Pictou, myself, and the, I guess, chief librarian would be as well. So that's the committee that reviews. We'll go through budgets. The budgets need to be approved at both councils as you move forward. So,
And at some point, if we figure it's getting out of hand here, we have a year that we can put in our notice saying that we're backing out of the deal.
I think that's what was in
That's what I read anyway, yeah. Okay. That's all the questions for now. Thank you.
Okay, Councillor Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. What percentage of the cost are we covering? 50% of the?
yes, so we're covering 50% off the municipal share, I guess. So the endowment fund is used first, then the costs are netted off against that, which leaves a balance to be funded, and we're paying 50% of that. So the number that is on the sheet there, the budget is basically 173,000. The municipalities are paying 80,000, so a little less than 50% off it.
So we're paying 40,000 out of that?
Yeah, so we're paying 40, and the town of Pictou matches.
Okay, I just wasn't sure. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. Councillor Wadden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I want to get home and see the game as much as everybody else, but I think it's important that people understand the libraries are the backbone of the community. I can't stress that enough. And if the province and the federal government and the municipal governments are willing to put money into making our libraries better and stronger, I don't see anything wrong with that. They're well used, they're well maintained. They do a lot more than just supply books. Just go in someday and have a talk with Eric Stackhouse. He will educate so many of you on what is being done at the libraries. They're not a waste of money. They're great for the economy, they're great for the residents, and I'm so glad that we are fully supporting the libraries in Pictou County. Thank you.
Warden Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. A couple of things I just wanted to comment on. Certainly, if there hadn't been enough foresight and there hadn't been the support from Sobeys, we wouldn't have this endowment funding, and so, you know, ours be 70 instead of 40 right now, because that had that 60, and that, I think that by the look of things, that's going to grow, and therefore, you know, our costs, even though they will go up, all operating costs go up, it'll help to hold them at that for a long time. And so I don't think it's too much to pay for the service that we're getting. I was in the library the other day to put a poster up for somebody, and it's just a beehive activity everywhere. And this was 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon. But I think it's a good investment. I know Peter's point is we should only be spending it in the county. But if we had to build a separate library, say out in Caribou or Scottsburn or somewhere for our rural people, or a separate rink down along the shore for rural people, I think it would cost us a lot more than it does working with the town of Pictou in this case, you know, to do that same service, or just not have the service. They could say, well, we don't serve people from the county because you guys don't take part in this. So I think our people would be left either without the service or much more expensive for us to provide on our own. So I'm fully in support of working with towns when it makes sense for us in order to be able to have what the people are asking for. Thank you.
Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I look at this through the lens of the return on investment for the county. And they're not only economic returns of investment that are going to happen here. I mean, the tourists and the people that come into the town to use these facilities, they're going to spend money, and they're going to spend money throughout the county. So to me, there's a huge economic component to this as well. There's also a big cultural component to it. So we're going to get a return on our investment culturally as well. I mean, if you want to, you know, explore the history of Pictou County, you want to, you know, look at things that are happening culturally in Pictou County, that's a great resource. So you're going to get a return on your investment culturally. Educationally as well. I mean, we have a knowledge economy that we're going forward into, and you want to invest in people's education, and libraries are used for that. People go and use those libraries to educate themselves, and so there's a educational return on their investment as well. So, and the other thing is that there's an epidemic of loneliness around, and one of the things that's providing is a space for social gathering, and in terms of returns, I think that's well worth the investment. That's somewhere people can go and gather, and there's rooms there you can meet. So there's all kinds of returns that we're going to get out of this facility, and it's just not for Pictou, and it's going to be countywide. And to be isolationist and think that it's not going to reverberate around the county, I think is misled. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Councillor Bailey.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess as far as the funding goes, I have no issue. I think libraries are very, very important to all residents, regardless of where they're located. But the question is, Brian, ours is $40,000 in cash? Is the town's $40,000 in cash, or is there some in kind?
No, this is. It's cash. It's your actual costs. Yeah. Yeah.
They will write a check.
Well, they're paying all the bills. Oh. We're writing them the check to recover, right? Because they own the facility, so they pay up front. And then there's a monthly reconciliation that the cost does with them, type things so that the costs invoice them for certain things, and then the town invoices the cost. So at the end of the day, we're paying a net number at the end of the year or mid-year or whenever they invoice us for the cost. So
Okay, motion has been made. It's on the floor, so we'll vote on it. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. One nay. Councillor Boyles, is that correct? Okay. Motion carried. Okay, 9.5, Climate Change Awareness Committee student appointments. 2 Northumberland Regional High School students have expressed interest in being board members for our Climate Change Awareness Committee. So they are Ellie Orrit from Salt Springs and Aaron Michelin from Highway 289. What's your pleasure, councillors? Okay, Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As the chair of the Climate Change Committee, I'd like to make a motion that these 2 students be included on our committee, and I'd like a seconder for that, please.
Okay, it's been seconded by Councillor Parker. Okay, go ahead, Councillor Parker.
I want to speak on it for a moment there. I spoke to the principal of Matt O'Toole there about getting a couple students to join our Climate Change Advisory Committee, and he put it forward to one of the teachers there, and these 2 students stepped forward, and I'm really keen to accept them because it's nice to have a young person's perspective on any committee, but this committee also, the climate change, so I'm happy to second the motion.
Okay. Warden Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I try to attend as many of the climate change meetings as I can, and we've always emphasized trying to get some young people on there. This is about the future. This is about what the climate's, what's going to be left of the earth after a few years. So I think the other challenge now, and I'm putting this out in case anybody knows, anybody hears of anybody that's interested, or maybe somebody online will hear it, we'd like to have 2 from North Nova, so that we balance out between the 2 schools. So a lot of our students, of course, are from the east and a lot are from the west, so we'd like to have 2 more. So if you know of anybody, or put it out to any of your teacher friends or anything, that there's always some in every school that have that sort of interest in, the environmental and the climate change and stuff. So it'd be very nice to, we did at one time have 3 or 4 on our committee, so it'd be very nice to get another couple. So I'd strongly encourage people to kind of put that feelers out.
Okay.
Thank you.
Councillor Wadden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Where they reached out to the principal at the Northumberland, perhaps they could reach out to the principal at North Nova as well. I mean, I do have some contacts there too. I'll certainly reach out to them, but I think working with the principal works a lot better sometimes too, like that. So, but I'd like to get that where it worked for Northumberland.
Maybe with your contacts, Councillor Wadden, you would be appreciated if you would reach out and see if we can get a couple students from there. That would be great. Okay. All right, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Next, we have a proposed drought relief bylaw. So as per the email that I believe we all received from a resident regarding this issue, Warden Parker has asked for this discussion regarding the proposed lending bylaw be put on tonight's agenda regarding updating their water supplies. I'll turn it over to you, Warden Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So I believe everybody saw the same email that I received from the gentleman in, I believe it was the Blue Mountain area. He was a little confused, I think, as to what district he was in, but that didn't make any difference. So we know we've all had a super dry summer. Rivers are so low you can just walk across them anywhere, stepping on the stones. And farmers have had great difficulty getting crops, get a first crop of hay, but not a second crop. So some are having to sell their animals off, and there's all kinds of things that happen because of droughts. But one of the worst ones that can happen is when you run out of water. It doesn't matter if it's just for you and your family in the house, or if you've got animals on the farm, or you've got other processes that you need water for. Once you run out of water, and you have to start hauling water or buying water, you soon know how difficult that can be. So I told this gentleman that I would check with our senior staff here and see if there's any programs, any way we could help. And so I did find out something that I probably should have known about and didn't, is that we do have available 4-liter potable water for drinking that if people can pick up here, any of our residents can pick up one, I may get this wrong, but I think it's 1 bottle per person per house per day. So we're somewhere close? And you pick it up weekly. So if you had 4 people in the house, say, you could get 4 of those 4-liter bottles, super big 8, water per day, and you don't have to make trips back and forth here. You could pick it up weekly. So, you know, the gentleman was glad to hear that. You know, it's quite a distance for him to come, but I think making it weekly is a good idea. But other than that, I asked Brian, was there any other ways that we can help people at all? Well, we can't truck them water or subsidize that because of the dangers of liability of putting something in somebody's well. If something goes wrong, we're up the creek. We can't guarantee what's in that water. So we can't get into that, but what we can do, and quite a few municipalities are, I think about 5 or 6 Brian checked with, we can finance a well, much like we do now with installation and solar panels and whatnot through Switch. So they borrow the money and then they pay it back to us, and if they don't pay it back, well, our security is no different than they don't pay their taxes. You know, we have to sell the place for taxes. Well, that's probably not going to happen in 1 in 10,000 or something, but it's one thing we can put out there to people and say, you know, here's a way we can help you. So Brian checked with, you know, some other municipalities, and most of them have combined that with sewer systems. So if you suddenly found out your sewer system had gone to hell and it's going to cost you $25,000 to put it in, that's a big lot of money for most people. And if you go to the bank, even if you are able to borrow it, then that takes away from your borrowing credit. This doesn't because it's on your property. So it works almost identical to Switch, but Brian might be able to talk to the fact of whether it's better, if we did do it, would it be better to do it through Switch or better to do it on our own? Some have done it on their own. Some, I believe the one that was sent out to do with was the East Hants. I think, can you talk to or speak to that through you, Madam Chair? Can Brian speak to that?
Yes.
Yeah, so there is a combination out there of who's administering the program. Some are doing it in-house, others are using, like, they've partnered with, like, the Clean Foundation on their PACE program, so some are having them administer it. So there is a mix mash. I haven't worked out all the details of what that might look like on if we were to go through the Switch program, what that would look like. Typically, it probably would result in a higher interest rate charge, just because it is outsourced. But I did circulate tonight just kind of a quick scan of what others are doing. Out there, the majority are, the loan period's 10 years. The amount varies from 15 to 30,000, and the interest rates vary as well across the units. Chester, Halifax, and East Hants do both water and septic. The other municipalities, Argyle, Barrington, Lunenburg, are just water. The legislation is there to enable you to do both. So that's kind of kind of an initial lay of the land. The East Hants bylaw actually they have an income approach, so household income. The other ones do not have an income approach type thing. So East Hants, it's I think 100,000 or less household income.
100,000, yeah.
The other ones don't have that in their bylaws. It's basically if you apply It's tied to the value of the assessment to some degree, is how they do it. So, yeah, so that's kind of where it's at. If there is interest, I guess at this point we're just trying to gauge if it's something we're interested in, then we would draft a model bylaw to bring back for your consideration. Put the
And that's why I brought it here tonight, to see if there's some interest. It's something maybe we can do for our residents that's not, we're not gonna have to, take it out of our budget. We're gonna have to set some money aside, I guess, to have to loan to them. But, or if we do it through, what was the program, Switch? But I couldn't help but think, okay, this fellow's in this situation right now, but I'm sure there's others who are in a situation you don't hear about. They just quietly do the best they can, whether they bail them water in Holland or whatever. But this is more of a long-term fix for them. This is the short-term fix is to come here and get some bottles of water. The long-term fix is, this can happen to me again. What can I do to prevent this from happening to me and my family again? And it seems like I know there's people with the same thing with sewers. And for a long time, I know when my brother Dave was here, he'd always say, well, a whole lot of us aren't ever going to get any water and sewer anywhere close to our districts. This is we have to do our own. If you're out far enough, you look after your own well and pump, look after your own sewer system. This is a way that we can help those people maybe a little bit. Not the same as running water or sewer to them, but this is a way we can help them, and they could get a little fair share out of the whole thing, I think. But anyway, I brought it here tonight to see what the interest was.
Okay. Go ahead.
And just on the, I guess, the bottled water program, we probably have between 10 to 15 on a weekly basis that are picking up type thing. So that's the current usage.
And I guess it's well advertised, but I didn't, does anybody around, most of the people around here know it was going?
Yes.
It was available? Okay. I didn't.
Okay, Councillor Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I totally agree with the warden that this is a great idea. 3% or 3.5% is a very low borrowing cost. But I think it's a great idea, and something maybe we can do to help people out in the country, because a lot of people are hurting for water out in the country. I was talking to a couple today. I'll give you a little background here. Their name is Robert and Lorraine Best. They live on Salter Road, where I'm trying to get water run to. But they're making 3 trips a day to keep up the water. They got a 1,000-liter tank, and it takes 40 minutes to fill at the Green Hill Spring. Back in July, it took 15 minutes to fill, so that Green Hill Spring is slowed way down. There's a big spring up in Mount Tom. It's gone totally dry. Some people are running as far as James River to get water from a spring down there. I don't know that spot, but it just shows you how desperate people are for water here, and they're coming from way over in the east part of the county to Green Hill Spring to get water. These guys, they meet all their meat, so they know what's going on. But I did want to mention another idea that Yarmouth, the town of Yarmouth up there, they have what they call a bulk water station. And you can pull in and fill up in a real hurry because it's big pipes. And they've had that for a few years, I believe. And is that something that the county be willing to look at? Town of Glasgow or nearby could provide a bulk water station, and you just take it right out of it's come from Forks Lake, but it's treated water. But anyway, it's just an idea, but they've been running it for a while. I don't know if any other counties are running that or not, but it's just a method to get water quicker when you don't have a spring. There's no spring down in the east part of the county by the sound of things that's got enough water to it, so just an idea. But thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay, Councillor Dewar.
Thank you, Chair. About that water, I come down here the other day to pay the taxes, I guess, and I was talking to Mr. John Davison. He was there passing out water, and which is a wonderful thing, and have somebody there that we don't have to look after, paying maybe, but there was residents from White Hill were able to, got them to come down. They called up, made an appointment to come at 9 o'clock or something in the morning. They got here, there was no water, and they asked in further about it, and well, they didn't have any answers for them, and really not real cordial to them, I guess, according to the way I was told. But I said, well, if there's any water there tonight, I'll take a case home for you. But anyway, I'm not likely gonna do that neither, but I imagine it has to be checked off. It's going somewhere. There's likely a procedure for that. But anyway, I think it's great that they had that, or we have this here. And I did hear the same thing that Councillor Parker just said about Green Hill, how it's slowing down. It's less than half of the pipe coming out from a full pipe, so the old hill's taken quite a drain. But if it wasn't for Green Hill, Blue Mountain, Mount Tom, and James River, we'd hear from a pile more people. Because the one in James River, it's a busy spot. The one in Blue Mountain, it's certainly a smaller pipe, and the same as Mount Tom, because I've been at them all. But we'd be in a real serious situation if the natural resources, you can remember a few years ago, they were gonna shut them down. You weren't gonna be allowed to get water there. Just think what a mess we'd be in tonight or this year if that had happened. So we gotta give credit where credit's due to the people that help keep them things going. Thank you.
Okay. Councillor McDonald.
Yeah, I fully support this program. People down in District 1 are running out of water left and right, and the springs I know the James River spring is very busy every hour of the night, day, and I fully support it. And perhaps in the future, not this year, but perhaps in the future, could we have something on the other side of the county for dispensing water? Possibly. I don't know where, but I mean, it's a long drive for a week's worth of water on this side.
Okay, Councillor Palmer.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I don't have any issue with this proposal. The only thing that I'm kind of concerned with, and maybe we don't have the answers, maybe we do have the answer, but I did work with a well driller for 2 summers when I was going to school, and there was times that we went into a person's property and we drilled and over 200 some feet and never got water. So I read the East Hants bylaw, but I never seen anything like that in there, and I'm just wondering, let's say if you go into a person's property, you drill 200 feet, you don't get any water, who's paying? Is the homeowner still responsible for that bill? Or is it, you know what I mean? That is a possibility in some locations of the county. So, and that's my only concern. Somebody might pay, I heard now it's 15,000 basically for an average well. That's what I'm hearing, right? So if you go down and you don't hit water, but a lot of the well drillers know the history. They know the history of the area and things like that, and they might be able to tell the homeowners before they go in that, there's a good possibility of not getting water here. So, but that's my only concern. Thank you.
Councillor Wadden.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'd just like to make a recommendation, a motion that we recommend staff draw up a bylaw for providing funding for water and sewer and with interest charges, both through the switch program and what if we could do a better deal for them with interest.
Yeah. Okay. All right, it's been moved and seconded. Councillor Thompson.
Yeah, thank you. I guess what I'm looking for is more information. I'm looking for, are we tracking who's coming and getting water? Do we have civic addresses and all that stuff? And what is the uptake in these other municipalities? I'm looking for a little bit more information before we jump on this. I know it's a very important situation, but I want to understand what our the impact on us will be as far as uptake and all that stuff. What can we expect with this? It is a big problem. I had another email from a resident out in the Blue Mountain area last night. And the other thing is there's a lot of areas that have challenging geology, I guess as I'll call it, where they're in our area it would be gypsum, coal seams, iron, all kinds of minerals. So it's not just as simple as drilling a hole in the ground to get good drinking water or usable water in a house. So I need more information. Thank you.
Councillor Bailey?
Thank you, Madam Chair. On the program that we have now, it switches. Yeah. The interest rate is 12%?
No, it's around 7.5.
And what do they charge? Like, we're putting up the money, I guess.
We put up a portion.
A portion.
We put up a portion. They go to market to find, it's basically a 90-10 split. So they're borrowing the money at basically a commercial rate, and ours is at like 3%, so the blended brings it down a little more attractive.
So these ones that we got the example of here, they're doing like East Hants is prime minus 1.6.
Yeah.
But okay, let's take Chester where they got 3%. They're doing that strictly on their own and they're just charging 3%.
Yeah, I would say.
But we don't know what kind of a workload that would put on.
So East Hants, this was a topic on the association listserv within the last few weeks. East Hants have had 37 since the inception of the program. So basically 37 over the last year.
Over the last year, same
Right.
population roughly as ours.
Yeah, plus or minus, yeah. So none of them have said it's a big number, but we know right now we have 15 users that are coming in and getting water. People that are hauling from Springs are probably not coming here, right? So these people are people that can't do that or don't have the ability to arrange for that. So we do, to Councillor Thompson's point, we do track who gets it, where they're from, type of well that they have. So I think there's only one that out of the 15 actually had a drilled well that went dry. The majority are dug wells, type thing. So we do track that. We coordinate when people should come and get it, should be coordinated with us. So the fact somebody shows up and there wasn't water, that wasn't coordinated because we know what our inventory is. We know when it's going out. There was a delay last week. We were supposed to get the water on Wednesday, but Big 8 could not deliver until Friday, right? There was a production issue. So those type issues are going to occur from time to time, but we do track and tell people when it's available for them to come, so.
I'm okay with the motion. I think I'd rather see it, what it would cost to do it in-house. I think we can do it cheaper. And, you know, we're looking, regardless of what, they're probably looking at a $200 a month payment based on if we do it through the way that is being done now through, what'd you say, Sharp? Is it Sharp?
Switch.
Yeah, Switch. Anyway, I would like to see it, I would be more interested to see if we could do it in-house with a lower interest rate.
Warden Parker.
Madam Chair, I know the ballgame is calling, so try to wrap this up. I think that's all I wanted to see out of tonight was to direct and, as the motion calls for, the staff to bring back, and haven't heard some of these questions and stuff, answer some of those. I think, I do agree with Councillor Bailey, and we did have a talk, when I was talking to Brian and Wayne the other day, that, you know, if we could do it in-house, all the better, because we could get a lower interest rate and keep their payments down. These are just a lot of ordinary folks around the county that suddenly these problems hit. I noticed in the East Hants one, it's not just drilled wells, but it's dug wells as well. And for, as has been mentioned here tonight, the geology in some areas of our county would not allow for a drilled well, or in some areas, even where in Donnie's area, some, you know, they've got drilled wells, some cases they still get chocolate milk. So in some cases, if you got a good spring, digging down quite a bit deeper, 20 feet instead of 6 feet or 8 feet, will give you a lot longer supply of water anyway, another year. So I think we have to consider everything and then bring it back to us in a sort of a form that would be our policy or whatever on this, and hopefully we can move forward with it. Thank you.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor, and I'll now call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. Okay, moving on to our last business item this evening. It's harassment and violence in the workplace policy. As of September 1st, 2025, the province is requiring workplaces to have a policy in place regarding harassment and violence in the workplace. The MOPC has a policy, but is needed to be updated and include new criteria relating to training of staff, investigations, and discipline. So I'll turn that over to you, Brian.
Not much more to add based than that. It is a legislative requirement. Came in September 1st. The government actually released the regulations on September 1st that required you to be compliant by September 1st. So we were compliant in that we had a policy, but this addresses all elements of the new regulations. So.
Okay. Need a motion on the floor, please. Moved by Councillor Palmer, seconded by Councillor Wadden. Any further comments or questions? Go ahead, Councillor Turner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I read most of this. I didn't read the whole thing, but I read most of it. And is there, this is regarding violence and in the workplace. Does it apply also to counselors outside of this facility, kind of thing? If you're threatened, if you're threatened in your community, is there anything regarding harassment or anything like that included in this policy?
No, this is simply meeting the obligations of the municipality as an employer.
I brought this up last meeting as well. Is there a, as I spoke of at the last meeting at the FCM, there was a large discussion regarding safety of elected officials. Is there any consideration of putting a policy together regarding that?
Yeah, so at the last meeting, we did make reference to us engaging, I guess, an assessment, overall assessment. So we are moving forward with that. And we have, later this week, we have kind of an initial conversation with the company that we've retained to do the security assessment. So we are moving forward with that. But as I say, it's later this week that we meet the individual. So.
Okay, seeing no further questions, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Contrary-minded, nay. Motion carried. All right, so that brings us to the end of our business items requiring action. Is there any deferred business this evening? Seeing none, is there any motions of reconsideration? Seeing none, any community announcements? Councillor Boyles.
Yeah, on
Hands up.
November 5th, the Hillside Community Hall will be having a Halloween dance. On November the 1st, I'm sorry, they will be having a Halloween dance at the hall with prizes for the best costume, dancing 9 to 1, and 19 years of age and over, and $10 admission.
Okay, Councillor McDonald.
Yeah, on October 31st for trunk and treats, there'll be at the Merrickmish, Lismore, and Kennisville community centers, varies hours. Merrickmish starts at 5, Lismore starts 5:30, and Kennisville starts at 6. And there's 2 hunter breakfasts in November. The first one, November 1st in Kennisville at 8 to 11 a.m., and the second one is in November 15th at the Merrickmish Fire Hall, 9 a.m. to 11. Thank you.
Okay, Warden Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This Saturday, October the 25th, is, what do they call it, Sarah's Spooky Special, I think it is, or something like that. Anyway, it's for the little ones. It's 12 to 2 at the Salem Ball Field. The rain, if it rains, it's going to the Western Fire Hall. And the little ones, there'll be all kinds of things set up, mostly between 2 and 12.
Okay.
After that, they don't want to come anymore.
Okay, Councillor Parker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just wanted to put a thank you out here. The tree planting subcommittee gave away close to 500 hardwood seedlings at the Wellness Center on October 11th. And I want to thank my fellow councilors, Councilor Turner, Warden Parker, and a whole group of volunteers, including our communications fellow here. Manager Adam McGinnis and his children were a great help, and all kinds of good volunteers. It was just a team effort. It was a great success. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Okay. All right, everyone. Well, we have come to the end of our agenda this evening, so I will adjourn the meeting, and we'll see you all tomorrow night.